Hello, everyone. Today we're going to do a 20-minute meditation to help us, first of all, pull the attention inward so that we're not so distracted and not so torn in many directions, where we're gathering our energy, bringing it in to the center of ourselves, and then first allowing the body to relax and the breath to regulate. And then we're going to drop even deeper into our subconscious so we can start to see things that we weren't able to see before. And these things are underneath the surface, guiding our lives and our reactions and our behaviors and our decisions. So if we're more aware of these things, we have better control about what decisions and choices and reactions we have. So right now, the goal is just to quiet the mind and turn inward. And over time, with practice, you'll start to drop deeper and deeper and start to see more and more, many layers of things that you've been impressed upon you, all the experiences you've had, all the things you've heard and seen and have been told and read that may not be true for you, or maybe you've outgrown. Basically, you may have found them true at one time, but they no longer serve you. So we're just going to begin the process by sitting up tall. I always recommend sitting on something comfortable like a folded blanket or a cushion if you're on the floor. If you're on a chair, sit forward enough that your feet are planted firmly on the ground and that your back is away from the back of the chair so that you're holding yourself upright, using your spinal muscles and your core muscles to elongate the spine. This is important to keep the energy flowing from the crown of the head down to the tailbone and back up again. And then it also helps us access the energy beyond ourselves. When we're crunched or rounded, we have a harder time with that. The other thing it helps is our breath. So when we're seated upright and tall through the spine, the breath is fuller and easier. And so is digestion and a lot of other things. So let's sit up tall, ground the sit bones, the bones at the bottom of the pelvis, lift the crown of the head toward the ceiling. You can either bring your hands together, like in this kind of a position with the thumb tips touching, or you can pile one hand on top of the other in your lap, or you can do chin mudra with the thumb and index tips touching and the palms turned up or down on your legs. So let's close the eyes. Relax the face and the jaw. Soften the facial muscles all the way around, including the skull and the scalp. Soften the root of the tongue and the cheeks, the temples. Forehead softens, especially the space between the eyebrows. Lengthening the spine, lifting the back of the head slightly off the shoulders. Chin is level to the floor. Lips are parted gently. You're not holding your teeth tightly together. The belly is soft, but the core muscles are still slightly activated, holding your chest up, elongating your whole spine and keeping a tall posture. Legs are relaxed and dropping down, releasing through the hip flexors, feeling the pull of gravity on the body. As you inhale, the breath moves all the way down toward the belly. And as you inhale, the diaphragm and the bottom of the lungs moves down into the belly, which pushes the belly out. And as you exhale, it gently softens back in, creating a little bit of a vacuum. So you're ready to take your next inhalation all the way down to the bottom of the lungs, allowing the belly to expand. And exhale slowly at the end of the breath. Just slow down the final part of the exhalation. When you're ready, inhale. We don't want this to be a feeling, like a strain, just flowing organically, gradually getting longer and slower. You can also breathe into the sides of the lungs as well as the front. And you can also breathe into the back of the lungs, so filling up all the way around, front, sides, and back with the breath. Stay focused on the breath, but allow it to become softer, slower, and less labored. Notice if you're still holding tension somewhere, and see if you can convince yourself to let it go. Don't judge yourself on this process. Rather, just allow it to gradually become a part of the way that you allow yourself to be, just for a period of time, just still and not busy doing anything, not thinking anything. A lot of people feel like they should always be doing something. But the nervous system requires rest, and so this is an opportunity for you to rest it, so it'll last longer for you, work better, and be less agitated, calmer. The calmer the nervous system, the more you are able to track the thoughts that come and go. The more agitated, the more rapid the thoughts, and the more difficult it is to even keep track of any of them, to decide whether you want them or not. And then they end up controlling you and guiding your life. So here you have the opportunity to slow them down and actually observe them. When they arise, just allow them, like a movie or a scene on a screen, and you watch it happen and you watch it end, and you don't think anymore about it. You just let it go and wait. There'll be some space. Gradually the space will grow between the thoughts, but at first there'll probably be thought after thought. And then you just watch the next one, sort of like clouds floating by in a sky. And as the nervous system relaxes more and more, and as you remove the most prominent thoughts by having them rather than stopping them or controlling them, there will be fewer and fewer and more space in between them. And again, you just observe them. Don't judge them. Don't get latched onto them and carry on a story afterward. Just watch them come and go. Take note. You're not ignoring them. You're allowing them to be part of the process. Remember, you're not your thoughts. Your thoughts are things that just happen in the process of being a human and absorbing information and, working out solutions and creating memories. But they are not you. You have a deeper level of awareness than the thoughts themselves, which is what we're working on becoming aware of and aligned with right now. Continue watching those thoughts and allowing them to fade. Coming back to the space between them and resting there. That rest between the thoughts is actually meditation. And over time, you will elongate that space with practice. Meditation is not really doing anything. It's just being and being connected to Source in a very still way. There's no action, there's no movement in the mind. There's only beingness. Like if you observe your pets at times or other animals, if they're not eating or running and walking, they are sometimes just in this, even babies do this, they're just in this nothingness place. And we say they're staring off into space, but they're actually connected to Source and receiving divine energy because they aren't blocking it with their thoughts or with their preoccupation with their actions. So allow yourself to receive divine energy and not block them. Not block any of the energy coming in. If you do get carried away with a thought, just come back to your awareness on the breath again and move through the process by recognizing that thoughts are rising and falling and you are only observing. You'll notice the body starting to relax a little more when the thoughts become fewer and shorter. If you're uncomfortable, do what it needs to be done for you to become comfortable. And sometimes people do need to lean against the chair or even lie down, and that's okay. But you do want to at least challenge yourself to sit up for as long as possible so that you can get stronger in this position. Continue watching or resting in the space between those thoughts. Your breath is pretty shallow by now. The breath is the inspiration for the mind. So as you inhale, the inspiration moves the energy in the mind. And so the more shallow you end up breathing, or the more still you are with the breath, the less movement you'll have in the mind. Anytime you start observing yourself in this process, you are not meditating. So you can observe your thoughts come and go, but as soon as you're like, oh, I'm seated like this, or I'm breathing like this, or I'm actually meditating, or am I really meditating? Whatever the thoughts may be about what you're doing right now is not allowing the meditation to happen. So try to avoid or let those go. Don't critique this process. It's not something that needs to be critiqued or judged. We're just training ourselves gradually to become more aware of the stillness within and less aware of the movements of the mind, or less attached to, I should say, the movements of the mind. If the mind gets distracted by any surrounding sounds or any of your own thoughts, just come back to the breath, following it all the way in and all the way out until it begins to slow down again, and you're becoming more aware of that space between any thoughts you may be having, and starting to dip down deeper into the stillness within you. I like to imagine it right in the belly, although, some people will find other places that this stillness exists. You'll become aware of your heartbeat, maybe other sensations, but then you'll drop even deeper into an energetic awareness. Which I like to call the core of my being. And again, we're observing if there's anything, any sensations, any thoughts, any feelings. Lots of feelings can come up here as we dip down. Things that were suppressed in the past, especially. But just observe them. They're not you. They're just little images of experiences you have had. And they go as quickly as they come, if you let them. Just know that you are always connected to Source. Always. It's just that we're not always aware of it. And we're very preoccupied mentally to become aware of it. But the more you do this, the more you will be aware of it in your day-to-day activities, which will help you balance out thoughts that are needed and thoughts that are not needed. And you'll start putting your attention on what is needed rather than what drains you, what's not needed. You may end up receiving more insights, more solutions to problems, more creative ideas, or just inspiration in general. As you develop this connection, you will feel more peace, you will feel more whole, you will feel more alive, more joyful, more healed. Because it's in this state that we are healing the wounds of the past, shedding the layers that no longer serve us, all the identities that we have moved through over time become peeled away, and the newest, most recent version of yourself can emerge, so that you're not carrying all the baggage of the past. Get comfortable with the stillness. Allow it to happen. You may have a glimpse of it and then tense up and resist it. But allow yourself to go there. Trust. Have some courage. You'll be needing to address some things as they arise. Not necessarily in its fullest way, just with your awareness, acknowledging that there may be some issues still unresolved within you that are peeking their head up so that you are being reminded of them. But just let it happen. It's okay. It's good. It's needed. Each time you do this, you'll have fewer and fewer of those to deal with. It is a process, and you'll clean the house over time. And if all of this is very challenging for you, focus on something that you're grateful for and let that feeling generate this process. Gratitude for the moment that you give yourself to meditate. Gratitude for the roof over your head, the food in the fridge or on the table, the friends or the family in your life, the support that you might be receiving, the job you might have. Just find gratitude, and that feeling can propel this process a lot more easily, I would say. It's like generating good vibes. And so your appreciation for Source will be the catalyst for this change and this deepening of awareness. Let this experience nourish your soul. Help you stay connected in a more, conscious way to divine energy, God, source. And know that you can reach this state in a lot less time with practice. Now, I did say it was 20 minutes, but I talked so much that I needed to give some more time to this. So it ended up being about 26 or so minutes. So you can stay here if you like. But if you're ready to come out, you can bring your hands together at the heart, press your thumbs against the breastbone, and bow your head to your fingertips, and just be grateful and thankful that you gave yourself this time to connect to yourself and source, and that you can continue this and strengthen that connection. Namaste.